Good morning. My name is Rizichi of Rizichi Creations. I am inspired by my African heritage, Zimbabwean and Choni, in the coast of Kenya. And today we are going to be cooking some jams. Everybody asks me, how do I make my chili sauces, chutneys, and cooking sauces? Today I'm just going to give you a glimpse, not a glimpse actually. Let's come into my kitchen and let's make some jams. I look forward to all your responses. I want you to just take control of your kitchen, have some fun, and let's do this. Karibuni sana. We're going to start making the jams. I've got a recipe book here, which you can find in any bookshop, talking about jams and preserves. And I'm just going to look at, what kind of jam we will cook today. I've got some pineapples, oranges, mango, and passion fruits which I had in my house. But you don't have to get so serious. Let's just go through it. It's very simple. We're going to make a mixed fruit jam. So we'll put it away. I look so nice and posh here like this. But we're going to just go through the process with very simple ingredients which you can have in your house. Overripe fruits, there are those fruits that you find they're spotty or they're overripe. Those are the best ones as well. Or if you just want to, have a try, get some seasoned or fruits in season, which are pineapples right now, oranges, mangoes, and passion. So we've got our fruit. Yeah, you'll need fruit, and then we will weigh it. So it's 1 part of fruit to 1 part of sugar. For example, if we have 1 kilo of fruit, we'll have 1 kilo of sugar to put in the sufuria. Don't be intimidated by the scales, because if 1 kilo is usually about 1,000 ml, yeah, which you can fill it up there, or you can have your mug, yeah, or the one for the flask, which are usually 300 or 250 grams. So if it's 1 kilo, you'll have 4 of them, 4 of these, yeah, or we can use cups, measuring cups. Yeah, which will say measuring cups 250 ml, which will be 4 of it for 1 kilo. So today we'll just use very simple methods. We'll use the weighing scale and we'll use a kikombe, which everybody has. Yeah, great. So let's get started. So wash your hands. I've washed mine. Make sure that your hands are nice and clean, and then we'll start. So we've got our washed fruit. We're going to start with the pineapple. We'll start with the head. Please note that we are going to use the whole fruit today, and I'll show you what we're going to use. So don't throw away the head. We'll keep it there for now, and then we'll cut off your skins. I'm not going to be very neat, but just cut off your skins because we use them as well later. Skins make very good syrup once they're boiled. I make vinegar with them, and they also can make a good base for your juices. Nice and juicy. So I put that away to use later. And then we cut our pineapple. So we'll use the whole pineapple. No, actually, I'll portion it into 250 grams. Measure 250 grams. Just chop them into random sizes. Doesn't have to be perfect. So we'll take that there. And we've got our 250 grams, right? We put that in our little bowls, ready for later. Put that aside. Take our mango, washed mango, skin the mango as well. So we have finished peeling that mango. Put our peels This also will go into our syrup, our mixed fruit syrup. We put it aside and then we chop this up. Take out all the flesh. Oops. It can be a bit messy. If it's a ripe mango. So put that seed there. Apparently, mango seeds make a nice butter. I'm yet to try. So we'll experiment together soon. So that we've got about 150 grams of mango. We'll put that aside. So how much do we have? 250 plus 150. We've got what? 400. I think. I hope my maths is correct. Then we've got some passion. That will just be part of it because we'll put all the fruit together to get the total sum of how much fruit we have. Passions are quite strong, so we'll just use 2 of that. We are not going to put the passion into the syrup skins. I'll find out whether we can use passion skins. That one I don't know. But it's also good to experiment and research. So we've got passion, mango, and pineapple. Next is going to be an orange. You can add whatever fruit you want. You can add bananas. You can add grapes to make your mixed fruit jam. Any fruit of the season really, to make your jams. And very easy, very cheap. And you'll be so surprised that you're not going to be having any additives or preservatives, those artificial ones that actually mess up your health. It's very important to keep our health intact. That's how I started my products, because I had issues with my health. So I had to make sure that whatever it is that I ate didn't have any artificial additives or preservatives. And so our hobby became a business. So we are cutting the orange now. We'll peel the orange. My dad used to peel it like this. Find it very weird sometimes, but the knife is too big. So you just peel that orange off. It doesn't matter whether it's, some of the comes. You can cut it into squares, triangles, into 4 parts. So I peel it that way. There are pixies as well, so you can use pixies. This gives, the citrus fruit has pectin. So pectin actually helps the setting process for jams. So cut that up and then we will weigh. Remove the seeds if there are any. This one doesn't have any seeds, so we'll keep that. You can use local. Do not go for the expensive ones. Local are fine. If you want to add a bit of lemon juice, you can, to just give a zesty taste. So let's weigh that. So we've got almost 200. So it's like 170. So let's all put that together now. We've got 200 grams of passion and orange. We've got almost 300, and now together with the pineapple, we've got 700 grams. So because we have 700 grams, I'm just trying to see how many cups these are. Yeah? The reason why you have to measure them together is so that we can get the equivalent number of, the equivalent of sugar. So 1 part of sugar, 1 part of fruit. So we'll see how many of these of fruit we have. So we put, this is your flask, and mind you, you don't need too much sugar because the fruit already has its own sugar. We'll transfer this onto, so that's 1 cup. We are counting 2. Let's get a spoon. pour it nicely. I think we are going to safely say we have 3 parts of fruit. Yeah, so it's 700 grams of fruit to 700 grams of sugar. Yes, a lot of sugar. If you want to try and use honey, you can use honey as well. But that's 3 of these to 3 cups of sugar, or 700 grams of fruit to 700 grams of sugar. So we've got our fruit in place. Yeah. And then let's weigh. Got my sugar here, so I'll put 3 cups to make sure what I'm saying is true. Yeah? So we've got 1, which is about 250. Yeah? So this cup is about 250 grams. Then 2, yeah, which is 500. Have I lied? No. And then 700. There we go. So I'm right, I did maths. I make my maths teacher on proportions, the proportions or ratios, proud. Yeah. So at least we do some proper mathematics on there. So we got our 700 grams of fruit, and we got our 700 grams of sugar. So our next step now is, so we are now at the cooking process of cooking stage, and now we're going to prepare our skins, or our magandas, as we say in Kiswahili. So I'll add some water. Just make sure you fill that up with water, right to the top. Squeeze it all there. Ooh, I've overfilled mine, but it's okay. And then you've got that, so switch on your fire and just let it boil. So the boiling process will take about 30 minutes, yeah, so that we get all the juices out of the skins, and to create a strong syrup. If you like sugar in your syrup, just add a bit of sugar. You can add ginger there, you can add garlic in there, depending on what's good for your immune system. So you can also add your ginger and your garlic there. If you're creating juices, if you're making a tropical juice, you can use that as a syrup for your juices or for your smoothies, or just to drink, really, as a refreshing drink. So now I prefer to use a stainless steel pot, because it doesn't have a lot of contamination. A big enough pot so that when it boils, it doesn't overflow, because jam will boil with a roll, and I'll explain what that roll is. So we pour our 700 grams of, have your wooden spoon, put that in there. I'll just add half a cup. Remember, this is a 250, so just put a little bit of water so that it doesn't stick, and we'll start boiling that before we add our sugar. So we add that. Make sure you watch your pot. So let it boil on. We'll start with high heat, and then when it starts boiling, you reduce the heat. Then we will then add all of the sugar in slowly as we stir. So let's let it boil so that it's soft, to soften the fruit. Some of you might like a smooth jam. I like mine chunky, that's why I've left big chunks. But you can break it down further. If you have a blender, you can just zap it, but you can chop it up to little pieces. So mine I've left it because I like big chunk pieces. And also it breaks down when you boil. So there you go. So it started boiling. We're going to reduce the heat. And bear in mind, you have to keep stirring so that it doesn't stick. You can see that once it starts boiling, the fruit starts breaking down. It becomes softer. Yeah, you can now see? It's become, mind you don't burn yourself. Be careful. It's getting softer. So you see the chunks have become smaller. So if you make the chunks too soft, then it'll be too runny. But if you like runny jam, some people like runny jam. Or you can start boiling it first and then break it down later. So from once it starts, we'll add our sugar. Yeah. And add it in slowly while you stir. I'm sure you're thinking, gosh, this is so much sugar. I didn't realize that jam has so much sugar. Yes, it does. But that's where you get the setting. If you don't use that amount of sugar, it doesn't set. And I prefer using a brown sugar. So with sugar, you have to stir. If you don't stir, it's going to burn. So no shortcuts with jam. You have to just keep on stirring and make sure that it doesn't stick to create that burning. So if it burns, then it becomes another taste altogether. Okay, so now we've gotten a roll. You can see this. If you see, come closer, we've got a nice froth going on. So the sugar is now starting to set. Some of the fruit is still chunky. So we have a normal masher. For mashed potatoes, mokimo, you use some whatever, mwiko. But now we just mash those pieces. Yeah. Get smaller chunks, because at least now it is soft. Yeah. And now I've got my little passion pieces in there, so it's all nice and authentic. Some people don't like the bits. Many children don't like bits, isn't it, kids? You like everything nice and smooth, right? So if you like yours nice and smooth, make sure you cut them all up nice and small. When I was younger, my mother used to say I never used to like cutting. I still don't. Always know that this is a labor of love and patience, but you can see all around here that it's starting to set. And make sure you regulate your heat. And maybe I'm just hearing somebody asking, how do you regulate the heat? Of course, with jam, making jam, you can have a thermometer. So keep on stirring. Yeah, it's starting to set now. Keep on stirring. And I know you'll be tempted to walk away. Don't walk away. So we're almost there. I want to just show you something. That we started over here when we started boiling. So of course it's really gone down. And then the white is also going, we are getting some color there. So keep stirring to get. So I just want to add a little bit of something. So let's say, this, you're not getting to see that. So I add a bit of vinegar. For some pectin. So that's setting, so process, that was sort of half a cup of vinegar. So pectin brings it to set faster. That's right. Nice taste. And then, if you like to spice it up, you can add half a spoon of tea masala. You know, if you like cinnamon, you can add cinnamon. I like my tea masala in there. Spice it up a little bit, not too strong. Just give it a taste. And I'm sure it will taste lovely. So we continue to let it boil, and it's almost ready to set. So let's just watch it boil a little bit. They say a watched pot never cooks, but let's watch it for a minute or so. Nice. You can have a look now. The syrup is almost getting ready. There, you can see some color on there. And so what I do with syrup, I was being asked, so what do you do with the syrup or the solution from the fruit? I make vinegar. Here's one that I made before. I'll put it to the side. This is a whiskey bottle. Pardon me, I've not removed the label. So I'm not advertising no alcohol. But I put them in bottles like that. And then I just cork them up. And you've got some vinegar. So vinegar takes about 1 to 2 weeks to make. The longer it stays, the better it becomes. The more sort of tangy essence comes. If you want to add flavor to it, you want to add chilies, you can add chilies or whatever after. But sometimes people can start. So it's just a fermenting process. And so fermentation is very good for your gut. Vinegar helps with stomach upsets, you know, cleansing your gut. It's good for making marinades for your meats and for your vegetables. It's also very good for making breads if you want like sourdough. It has some yeast, so for fermentation. Salad dressings. So you can get creative with your vinegar and you don't have to buy it. You know those ones they say apple cider vinegar with mother. You can make your own apple cider vinegar with mother. Of course, you have to make sure that the skins have not been exposed to chemicals, which a lot of fruit these days is. But to mitigate that, make sure you wash your fruit, soak it with bicarbonate of soda to sort of alkalinize and remove the acid. Because alkaline is what balances your gut from, you know, bacteria and all sorts of diseases. So this process is not just about enjoying food, it's also about being healthy and preserving our bodies in a very natural and simple way. So we wait. We carry on stirring. I was talking too much. Let's carry on stirring. Yeah? See now, it's getting there. There's a lot of froth, but we're almost getting there. So if you have a thermometer, if you do, it's not a must. You just have watch your eye. And then the less froth you have, sometimes you just take it out, you know, reduce the heat. And as you see, as you reduce the heat, it becomes you can see that it's getting set. Okay, so we are here now at our final stage. We have made our jam and we've made our solution from our peels, and now we need to can them. So a canning process is simply putting your products into a jar. I prefer to use glass jars because I can sterilize them, and glass actually keeps the flavor and the essence of what you've made. So if it's sauces, if it's vinegar, if it's juice, you know, it keeps well. Plastic, on the other hand, really interacts with your food and it won't last long. With glass, you can leave it there, it'll ferment and it'll create such lovely flavors. The longer you keep it, the better it becomes. So we have sterilized. You can sterilize using water. So like this bottle, I've used hot boiling water. You just dip it in a sufria, boil, and then bring it out. So we're going to pour that out. Okay, and then the other process, you can sterilize in the oven or a microwave if you have one, but heat in the oven is good. If you're using a jiko, take your sufuria, put it on top of a jiko, cover it up so it's dry heat. So what we'll be using is dry heat, and put your makaa on top of the lid. Then you create that heating process the same way you'll be baking using a jiko as well. So it's just dry heat, and I personally prefer dry heat because all the moisture goes out. Yes, and then the other process is using a sterilizing solution like Milton's, which is used for sterilizing children's bottles to remove all the bacteria. So those are the three processes. So we are going to fill our bottle. So you can hot fill, it will not break because this is hot and this is hot, so it will not break. Don't touch this, it's very hot. Make sure you use a lid. So that is ready. We put it aside to cool a little bit before we can it, lock it. So make sure it's not to the edge to tip, we'll lose that. So let's set this aside and bring our jam forward. So if we come closer, we can see that it's already set, starting to set here. You can see all those two folds and wrinkles, it's already starting to set. And you'll see here, this is where we started boiling and it's really gone down. So all the water content has come. And how you test the setting process is, I've put a plate in my freezer to make it cold, and then I'll just put that there and let it cool. And you'll see that it's not moving. Yeah, it's set. Have I lied? No. So if we're going to now, this is sterilized by heat, dry heat, we just pour in our and it will cool while it let it dry and then lock it. Pat it dry. Make sure there's no moisture. Moisture will then turn into bacteria. So make sure it's all dry. That's why I put this here. And then you lock it. It's important to always put the product up until where the brim is, so to create a vacuum. So once they cool, it creates a vacuum. I will immerse this in hot boiling water to create that vacuum so it locks it up. Most of the lids you get from jars have a little prodding or like a belly button. So you can have a whole batch of fruit. You don't know what you're going to do. Maybe your grandmother or your mom has sent from home, or you have a farm and you've got excess. So we don't have to waste food. You see, I've used peels and I've used that to make vinegar. I'll keep this for 2 weeks and then it will ferment, making sure that I open it. And then this is for my jams. I'll use them for my bread. So this is a very important process. Yeah, it cannot be skipped, because if you're going to keep your product for a long time, this is when you will know whether it's going to be able to become moldy or not. So it's called the immersion process for canning. And so you have your boil water All you need is a pot, water, which you bring to boil, and then you immerse your jars in there. So they need to be covered. This particular one is too long, but just imagine that is in there, but water should be right at the top. So maybe you get a taller one, okay? Or I'll just plonk it in there. You will see bubbles if you have not tightened your lid. If you see bubbles, you have not closed it too tight. So then it will definitely get in some air, which will then make it moldy and spoil your product. So always make sure you do this process. This also helps create a vacuum once it is cooled. And it also cleans the jar from the stickiness. So it's like 3-in-1 process. So once this is boiled and nice, you just pull it out. Be very careful, it's very hot. Use tongs, yeah? And have an adult, if you're a child, have an adult close. I also believe in children experimenting. So I'm not saying children don't do it, but have an adult close to you. Don't do it on your own, all right? Practice makes perfect. Use tongs, which you just pull out like that, yeah? So we leave it there to boil. And then that's it. And you put it in your store in a cool, dark place. Not anywhere near light. Cool, dark, not where there's heat. So not somewhere like this where there's cooking going on. So somewhere in your store or in a dark cupboard where it is closed. No moisture also. Damp also can create mold, which is not good for you. I've got 2 boys. They love bread. You know, teenage boys, not pretty, mine are post-teen, they're adults, but they still love bread. You can put on scones, you can put on your cakes. Yeah, so be creative. So when you're going to can, make sure you also sterilize your lids. So I've got hot water there. I put those in there. Make sure that you be very careful. Hot water is not good for you when you're dishing out your products. So enjoy yourselves. You can make anything you want. You know, maybe sometime we will do pasta sauces. We will go and make some marinades. And yes, the world is your oyster. Get creative. Asanteni sana.